Hello, Dowsing Chef here. Today I'm going to show you explicitly, how to cook short grain rice so it's really good. So you got to wash it. I'll do a mushroom dish with it while we're doing the rice. I think this is about the rice, guys. So we got to wash it. First off, you want warm water. The water is warm. This is short grain rice. I'm doing 3 cups. Because you know me. So I always thought when they say wash your rice, I'll be like, it doesn't even look dirty. But there's more to it than that. I'm sure you know. You're washing it to remove some of the starch. Yeah, I've been painting today, guys. That's pretty bad, but I can't get that paint off. It's like enameled onto my skin. So you want to be doing this to remove the starch. And the thing is, I want to show you this thing about short grain rice is like, it's so good. And if you're doing vegan, man, you want to be cooking your rice perfectly because then your meal is like so much more enjoyable. This will set you up for doing sushi rice. And sushi rice, I could just eat it by the wheelbarrow full with nothing else. Sushi rice is amazing. So just a little bit of stirring here, and I'll show you. It's already, you can't see the rice. I'm going to rinse this off, so tip that out, use a strainer. You don't have to, you could use the lid of the pot, or you could just tip most of it out if you can't be bothered, and just fill it back up again. So short grain rice and also jasmine rice take special care and attention to make the rice super delicious, and funnily enough, Thai cuisine and Japanese cuisine do lend themselves pretty nicely to vegan cuisine, right? So one of the keys is in getting the rice real good, getting it cooked real nice. So it takes a bit of time, a bit of prep. But I'm showing you a little bit of a shortcut. I'll probably do another video explicitly for exclusively just rice. We'll give that another tip out. Nothing to it. Just give it a tip out. Put that back in. Chuck that over there. Now we're up to wash number 3. Now with short grain rice and jasmine rice, you know, three washes is probably the minimum. I think you're probably going to look at the same probably for long grain rice too. It's just what makes, like, if you have rice when you eat at a restaurant, like if you go to a Japanese restaurant or a Thai restaurant and you think, man, the rice is amazing. This is all contributing to why. So I'm pretty tired and can't be bothered today, so I'm just going to wash this 3 times. But I say 3 decent washes is the minimum. But as you can see here, it's starting to be a little bit clearer. Now, if you're in a hardcore Michelin star Japanese restaurant, that would be unacceptable, wouldn't it? You'd have to keep going. And you'd also probably, I don't know, have to do some other stuff as well. But for now, I'm going for 3 washes because that gets rice in the ballpark of absolutely amazing. I can eat this cold. I eat it for breakfast with banana on my low-fat diet. Now here's the other thing. The instructions, as I've said in the past, the instructions of rice packets are wrong. So we've got 3 cups of rice here. We're going to go 3 cups of water. You can go 1 cup of rice to 1 to 1 1/4 cups of water. So there we go, 3 cups of water. If you're a bit worried that it's going to be a bit dry, you can put in a little bit more. But don't do this 2 to 1, 2 water to 1 rice ratio. That's too much. It is. That's one of the secrets to super delicious rice. At least closer to what you get from like a nice takeaway or a restaurant. So if you're doing sushi rice, you would leave this to rest for half an hour. But again, like I was saying, I can't be bothered. And honestly, it still turns out really good. I'm not making sushi rice, but if you're making actual sushi rice, I'm going to show you a couple of tips for that. So yeah, you'd rest it for half an hour, but this is also just the way to go for just your hot cooked rice. And if you use short grain, it's really a treat. It is. And you need every little treat you can get on a low-fat vegan diet. All right, so now I'm going to do mushrooms to go with this while this is starting to do its thing. All right, so on to just the mushroom dish. Just showing you a couple ideas, really, just throwing together what we have. But hey, so I'm fat-free. I'm not adding oil, but I've added like what I probably would do with the oil. So it's probably like 1/4 of a cup of water, 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of water. If you're not worried about oil, or if you're not worried about fat in your diet, yeah, definitely be putting oil in here because we're cooking mushrooms. And olive oil with mushrooms, mwah, so good. I'm not really giving you quantities, but you know, a good amount of mushrooms. I would still keep the oil the same. I'm just throwing them in because I'm not really getting a sear on them because I'm using water. But obviously, if you're using oil, you want to get that up to temperature. I'm kind of more really steaming them. I'll better turn that on. Okay, another little secret. Well, this is a leek from Julia's Amazing Garden. Here's how you clean a leek. So this is as close as you get, as close as you're going to get to butchering when you're a vegan. So you take that, and you go through, and you go down, you take that, and obviously you want to point down so you don't stab your finger, and go down. So now, you have got all of this, and you know what? Julia, your leek is perfectly clean because the reason we do that is you get bits of dirt all up in here. But there isn't any. But just for the camera, I'm going to wash it. There we go. It's like a squid. So, yep. So that's how you clean a leek. And I'm just going to roughly, rough as guts, chop it. Remember, we've got we've got chunks of mushrooms, so then you can do chunks of everything else. So if everything's finely chopped, like you're doing a bolognese, like a mince, everything's got to be finely chopped. I mean, that's the logic. But we're cutting corners. We're cutting corners. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to chuck these all in. This is what I really do, like, this is really going to be like a stew with rice. So it's about flavor. It's home cooking. This is just about getting people eating vegan food for the little animals. That's it. And see if it's nice. So I think there's a lot of vegan stuff out there that ain't nice. And low fat's pretty hard. So these are going to be low fat tips and tricks. Okay, so now we've got some sort of steam happening. I've got some garlic powder here. 1/2 teaspoon, I'm putting that in. Garlic and mushrooms, yum yum. Leek and mushrooms, fresh leek and mushrooms. You're on to something there. Black pepper powder is a new favorite of mine rather than cracked black pepper. It just adds a flavor that cracked black pepper doesn't. That sounds weird. I use it instead of chilies. So that was about 1/2 teaspoon there. It's quite peppery. So these are those two, the garlic and the peppers, to taste. Just use your eyes and use your feeling. Get used to being in the kitchen and doing these things. Following a recipe kind of sucks. It's just it turns everything into a robotic task. Try to go by feel. I'm really just like freestyling it here. My favorite ingredient on planet Earth. There's no secret, but look, Massel, Australian owned stock powder, chicken style. It tastes like, well, if you're in Australia, it tastes like the chicken seasoning they put with your chicken salt that you have on your chips. In Australia, you get fish and chips, and you have it seasoned with chicken salt. True story. Seen someone that hadn't been to Australia, and they're like, what the it's chicken salt. I'm like, oh, I'll just have it, it's nice. And he thought it was nice. Anyway, so this is vegan stock powder, and it does taste like chicken stock. It tastes like that chickeny flavoring, like if you've got chicken flavored chips. It's got that taste. So again, to taste, I'm putting about a heaped teaspoon. I would rack up limes and snort it if I could. I love it so much. The ingredients are actually really good. Hey, I'll just read them out. Like, okay, so the ingredients. This is crazy. Maybe it's a lie. Sea salt from the Great Southern Ocean. Low sugar maize, so it's corn flour, right? Yeast extract, they all have that. Natural vegetable flavors, which could be where all the lies are. Potassium chloride, salt. Canola oil, turmeric, and ground madras. Now, ground madras, I'm pretty sure that's a curry powder, so that's interesting because, hey, stay tuned. I know I'm talking too much, but there's not really, cooking has got to be social a little bit as well. Otherwise, who wants to do it all the time? We cook every night. We are really sad and depressing people. And ground madras in the stock powder, I never would have thought unless I read it. So anyway, compared to other stock powders, it's pretty darn good. So what's happening here? The liquid's becoming more liquidy. The smell is starting to fill the kitchen. And these are starting to cook down. Looking here, see how it's simmering? It's not really boiling. We're not ready to turn the heat down. We're gonna let it to, it's like that kind of boiling. Okay, that's when you turn it down. Because it's short grain rice, we're only cooking it for 12 minutes. I think it's the same for jasmine. Anyway, I'm talking too much, but stirring this up, and then you can go by smell. That smells very peppery. That's how I like it. That's how Julia likes it, because it's adding a spice and a type of flavor that you don't really normally get. Like, it's kind of like turns it into sort of a curry. So here we go. This is where it's really actually boiling. I'm just going to change you don't have to do this. I'm just going to change the element. I'm just going to go to the smaller one because that's a bit big for this. And then we're going to cook it for 12 minutes. So yeah, these mushrooms, I mean, they're not going to get like, I think I've shown you guys how the best way to cook mushrooms, obviously with oil, olive oil or what have you. And if I was doing that here, they'd start to be getting nice and brown. But that's okay. They're going to have some flavor. I can smell the mushrooms cooking away now. Now here's another little thing. I just got this from the, I got this from a catering place, but this was in the cupboard. If you can and if you want to and if you will, this is a great little thing to have if you're on a low-fat vegan diet. It's masala wine, so it's like, that Sicilian thing they put in tiramisu and in masala chicken, and it's got mushrooms. So anyway, it's extreme sacrilege here because you're going to see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to put just a glug, probably about 1/4 of a cup. Not really the cheapest stuff out there. I use it to make tiramisu for people at Christmas and stuff like that. And here is the sacrilege. This is soy sauce, guys. So this is going to be another seasoning. I just put it into this bottle because I get a big bottle. Probably about a tablespoon of soy sauce. Again, just sort of use your gut feeling. It's obviously salty. If you don't like salty food, put less in of the stock powder and the soy sauce, right? But we're going to be adding water because we haven't added any, really. We added a little bit, but we're going to add a little bit more, and then we can adjust the taste with, so that's about 1/2 cup of water. Let's see where we're at. We just want to cover all these mushrooms so it's actually like a stew. So we're going to put like about 1 cup of water. There we go. And what we can do now is have a little taste. I'm going to do old school chef and use the cooking spoon. Yep, that's good. So the flavor is going to come together. I was probably a little bit stingy on the masala, but the flavor's there. It's really nice. Believe it or not, I will be adding some salt to that. Alright, so once that gets up to its heat, we're going to thicken this. This is another thing that you have to do on a low-fat vegan diet to get things to be like a creamy sauce. Well, bye-bye cream. So, you know, at this point, you want to add corn flour. And I just, yeah, again, I freestyle. I'm putting about a tablespoon of corn flour, possibly a bit more than a tablespoon. And then if it comes out not thick enough, well, it's going with rice. This is going to thicken it. And if it comes out too thick, you can add some water. And then, you know, I'm putting another sort of half cup of water with this anyway. So that's going to add to the liquid here. So we just stir that up. And left-hander coming through. There we go. And just, you know, I don't drizzle. I just get it in there and start stirring straight away. And there we go. And that's already thickening up. So you see there, that's actually really thick. I'll add a little bit more water. Oh, look how thick that is. I can get away with a bit more water than that. See, I just sort of play around as I go. So if you didn't put enough, well, you can cook it for longer and reduce it down. If you put too much, you can just add a little bit more water. There is a bit of flexibility in lazy, you know, creative weeknight cooking. Masala wine takes things to another level. Soy sauce adds that savory flavor. Magical, delicious stock powder obviously just makes stews and curries taste like, you know, restaurant, low budget restaurant quality. I got this, someone gave it to me as a gift. I don't know about you guys, but this is another like black truffle, like truffle seasoning or truffle powder, mushroom powder. These kind of things, yeah, definitely like a must-have on a vegan diet for the vegan kitchen, and especially a low-fat thing, just ways to add flavor. And we get these often because they're kind of unwanted gifts. It's quite a popular gift, like Christmas gift item for people, and a lot of people don't like it, so you end up having people going, oh, you like cooking, would you like this? Yeah, heck yeah. So now this is boiling. We want to simmer it for a minute, and then it's just done. I think it looks pretty nice. It's going to go, you know, it is a bit like, you know, I guess in Chinese takeaway cooking, they do a lot of thickening with cornstarch and water. It's that concept to get like a rich sauce. So you want to be adding that depth of flavor with your black pepper and your garlic and your stock, and if you've got masala wine, soy sauce, get everything real nice and savory. But Julia has broccolini from the garden, so I'm just chucking that in. Just showing off. They're so cute and they're so nice. And they don't take long to cook either. I think it's kind of wrong to cut them. I shouldn't have done that. But I wanted them a little bit following that rule, cutting things into chunks. Add that in. You eat them raw, they're basically cooked. And these are garlic chives. Garlic chives, absolutely amazing. We'll have to do like a foraging episode to find like onion weed and stuff, because that'll be good for everyone. I'm sure onion weed's found everywhere in the Western world. Onion weed is something like a kind of chive that you can just harvest, and it's probably in your nearest park or garden, probably growing wild, and it tastes like onions. So there we go, that's all we're doing here. Adding some veggies in there. Alright, so the rice, 12 minutes is up. So rice, you want to rest it for quite a long time. The short grain rice, you do want to rest it for half an hour. You don't have to, but it's going to be better if you do. But your 12 minutes is up, so immediately you get in there and you give it a stir. Now, if you want this to be sushi rice, you then add some salt to taste, sugar, yeah, probably about, for this much, probably about at least a tablespoon, believe it or not. You want to put some vinegar, ideally like Japanese mirin, or, you know, whatever the rice vinegar, you know, the Japanese one, or just any vinegar. Put some vinegar in, and if you really want it to be like the sushi rice that you get from a thing, then you want to add some oil, like a neutral oil. Like add like canola oil or something, like probably to this again like a tablespoon at least, and put all that stuff in. Give it a stir, give it a rest. All I've done is given it a stir, and I'm giving it a rest for however long I can be bothered. I can't be bothered, so I'm just going to say it's pretty much good to eat straight away. But if you rest it for half an hour, and here's one other thing about the rice, and I'm going on about it, but rice is like super important. Like basically the evidence, a lot of the evidence on the low-fat vegan diet is based around, rice eating cultures, communities that like in Asia that lived on almost exclusively rice. So rice is super important. It's super important how you cook it. That's the other thing I was going to say. Leave the lid on. So say you serve some rice up, put the lid back on, and if you cool it down, keep the lid on because it keeps all the moisture in. I know in Japan they get a wet towel and they put it in a bowl and that helps and all that sort of thing, but this is just home cooking, right? So keep it in the pot with the lid on while it cools down. You want it to always be covered, and that's also how you stop getting food poisoning rather than the refrigerating aspect. It's the keeping it covered aspect is really important for rice. That's a safe way to do it and the tasty way. And you can have that in the fridge, sealed or covered, and you can eat it cold and it's like all nice and moist and chewy and yummy. So that's my thing about rice. I love rice. I especially love it now I love rice now I know how to cook it properly. I never liked rice. It was never cooked properly. I learned how to cook it properly. I love rice. I have rice for breakfast. So there you go. I did taste that, and I am, the saltonator, as they say. So take my advice with salt, with a pinch of salt. This does need seasoning. I've got the black truffle seasoning because truffles go with mushrooms. Soy sauce, believe it or not, it goes with everything. Come on. It's just savory background, blah, blah, blah. So I give it another taste of, don't know what I did with my tasting spoon. Yummy, yummy, yummy. It's very peppery. That's how we like it. Don't mind me. A little bit more salt. This is very savory. This is very like a deep, rich flavor. If you don't like black pepper, don't put as much as I did, but I love black pepper with mushrooms. So I'm just pretending that's been rested for half an hour. Plating up is really an anti-climax on this show, eh, Julia? Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da. And that's it. I just want to get a fork and show you what this rice looks like after doing the washing properly but cutting corners as well. It's pretty good. See, it's quite sticky. It's pretty sticky, but it separates. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so that's all you do. Cook some rice, cook it properly, and then you can just put whatever you got lying around, really. Chuck it in, get the seasoning about right, get some background sort of savoriness to it, and yeah, you're good to go. Rice makes the meal. So, yeah, hope you enjoy it. See you in the next one.